In a realm where the laws of physics decided to take a vacation and reality threw a tantrum, there existed a place so whimsical that even the unicorns sported sunglasses to shield their eyes from the sheer silliness of it all. Welcome to the Enchanted Forest, where magic and technology collide in a cacophony of confusion that would make even the most seasoned wizards question their sanity. This enchanted realm is not your run-of-the-mill forest. Oh no. It is a mishmash of mystical marvels and technological trickery so bizarre that even the trees have been known to sprout USB ports. Picture this: flying carpets powered by solar panels, talking squirrels with Bluetooth headsets, and time-traveling tea kettles that brew coffee instead of tea. The inhabitants of this peculiar place are as eccentric as its landscape. Unicorns strut around in designer shades, casting spells with a flick of their bedazzled horns. Meanwhile, wizards scratch their heads in bewilderment, trying to decipher the cryptic error messages that pop up on their crystal balls. So if you ever find yourself wandering through the enchanted forest, be prepared for a wild ride filled with absurdity, sarcasm, and enough alliteration to make your head spin. Just remember to keep an open mind and a sense of humor. After all, in this topsy-turvy world, anything is possible. Eons ago, before the enchanted leaf scroll communicator and selfie sticks roamed the land, there stood a majestic tree at the heart of what would later become the enchanted forest. This tree, known as the Beacon of Gaia, was said to be older than time itself and possessed a wisdom that rivaled even the most knowledgeable sages. Legend had it that this tree was the guardian of all things magical and technological, serving as a bridge between two worlds that should never have met. Once upon a time in the enchanted forest, there lived a mischievous Stormpixie named Private Sparklebottom. Legend has it that Sparklebottom's origin story was as peculiar as his name. It is said that he was born from a rainbow that collided with a shooting star during a cosmic dance-off between the moon and Uranus. This cosmic mishap resulted in Sparklebottom being imbued with an insatiable curiosity and a penchant for causing delightful chaos wherever he went. One fateful day, as Sparklebottom flitted through the enchanted forest, his eyes caught sight of the majestic beacon of Gaia. The beacon stood tall and proud, its roots intertwined with the very essence of nature itself. In a moment of sheer whimsy, Sparklebottom decided it would be a grand idea to sprinkle some enchanted techno dust on the roots of the beacon. In a whimsical land where the laws of physics took coffee breaks and the skies were painted with neon hues, there lived a mischievous pixie named Sparklebottom. With a twinkle in his eye that could outshine a supernova, Sparklebottom was known far and wide for his peculiar antics and love for all things shiny. In a whimsical world where cotton candy clouds caressed the cerulean skies, Sparklebottom, the jolly jester of jubilance, pranced through the pastel meadows with a skip in his step and a twinkle in his eye. Suddenly, amidst the sugary swirls and marshmallow mists, he stumbled upon a creature so peculiar, so fantastical, that even the most imaginative minds would struggle to conjure its existence. Gina Gadget, the Stormpixie, as Sparklebottom's polka-dotted shoes pirouetted on the fluffy confections below. His gaze fell upon Gina Gadget, a whirlwind of whimsy wrapped in a cloak of crackling lightning, with hair as wild as a tornado and eyes that sparkled like lightning bugs on a midsummer night. She fluttered about with an air of enigmatic energy that left Sparklebottom utterly befuddled. "Salutations, O shimmering sprite of storms," exclaimed Sparklebottom, his words dripping with saccharine sincerity. "Pray tell, what curious calamity brings you to these saccharine shores?" Gina Gadget's response was a symphony of sardonic wit and thunderous theatrics. "Oh, dear Sparklebottom," she chortled, her laughter echoing like thunderclaps in the distance. "I am but a tempestuous temerity traversing this topsy-turvy terrain in search of mischief and mayhem. What say you to an escapade of epic proportions?" And so began a preposterous partnership between Sparklebottom and Gina Gadget, embarking on escapades that defied logic and reason. From riding rainbow unicorns through rivers of raspberry ripple to outwitting ogres with origami expertise, their exploits knew no bounds. As they danced through dimensions drenched in absurdity and doused in drollery, Sparklebottom realized that sometimes the most extraordinary adventures begin with the most ordinary encounters, even if they involve stumbling upon a storm pixie amidst the fields pondering storm clouds. In a quirky twist of fate, Gina Gadget, renowned as the Storm-pixie in the eccentric realm of inventors, found herself gazing at the celestial waltz of storm clouds. These clouds, adorned with an otherworldly shimmer, ignited a spark of inspiration within her peculiar inventor's soul. Determined to encapsulate the elusive essence of these ethereal lights, Gina embarked on a whimsical quest to concoct what she dubbed as techno-dust. Within the chaotic confines of her cluttered workshop, where gadgets and gizmos mingled in a cacophony of shapes and sizes, Gina delved into weeks of tireless tinkering. Her pursuit for the perfect formula led her through a maze of contraptions and experiments, each more outlandish than the last. Amidst the clinks and clatters of her inventive endeavors, she stumbled upon what she believed to be the ultimate concoction, techno-dust. After countless comical mishaps and serendipitous discoveries in her workshop, Gina unveiled her creation to the world with a flourish that could only be described as pure absurdity. The techno-dust shimmered with a surreal glow, mirroring the very spectacle that had sparked its inception. As word spread of Gina Gadget's fantastical invention, the tech world buzzed with curiosity and amusement at the enigmatic Storm-pixie's latest creation. With a mischievous glint in her eye and a sprinkle of techno-dust in hand, Gina set out to revolutionize the world of technology. Little did she know that her newfound creation would lead to a series of comical mishaps, including an incident that transformed her beloved pet robot into a toaster. One fateful afternoon, as Gina excitedly dusted her latest invention with techno-dust, a sudden surge of energy caused a chain reaction that enveloped her pet robot in a shimmering cloud of sparkling particles. In a flash of light and a puff of smoke, the robot's circuits whirred and clicked, its metal frame morphing into that of a sleek toaster. Stunned by the unexpected transformation, Gina could only stare in disbelief as her once loyal robotic companion now stood before her as a fully functional kitchen appliance. Despite the initial shock, Gina couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of the situation. After all, it's not every day that one accidentally turns their pet robot into a toaster. Undeterred by this peculiar turn of events, Gina saw an opportunity for innovation even in this mishap. Embracing the chaos with her trademark creativity and resourcefulness, she set out to explore the possibilities presented by her unintentional creation. Who knew that a toaster with artificial intelligence capabilities could be so handy in whipping up breakfast while cracking jokes? And so, amidst laughter and toast crumbs scattered across her workshop floor, Gina Gadget continued to push the boundaries of invention with her techno-dust in hand, proving that even in moments of unexpected absurdity, there is always room for innovation and imagination. This shimmering substance had the ability to imbue any object with a touch of technology, turning even the most mundane trinkets into wondrous creations. On a day so fateful, Sparklebottom and Gina Gadget's paths did intertwine, leading to a peculiar exchange. From the depths of her gadgetry, Gina bestowed upon Sparklebottom a vial of techno-dust, setting in motion a chain of events that would make even the most seasoned magician raise an eyebrow. With the vial clutched in his dainty digits, Sparklebottom wasted no time in embarking on his first order of business, illuminating the beacon. Upon reaching the beacon alongside Gina, our dear Private Sparklebottom delved into his pouch of mystical knickknacks, producing a vial of shimmering techno-dust. Grinning mischievously like a cat who had just devoured the cream supply, he liberally sprinkled the dust over a nearby root. Lo and behold, that humble root underwent a metamorphosis so grand that it transformed into a radiant spotlight, casting its luminance across the expanse of the sky as if auditioning for a celestial theater production. As Sparklebottom and Gina gawked at their creation, they suddenly realized that this was merely the inception of their wacky wanderings together. Armed with techno-dust, they whimsically decided to scatter enchantment and eccentricity throughout the entire tangle of the beacon's root system, depleting their stash of techno-dust. As Sparklebottom extravagantly sprinkled it all over the beacon of Gaia's roots, an eruption of glitz and glimmers erupted, drenching the setting in a carnival of confounding colors. Magic and technology intertwined in a bizarre waltz, creating a spectacle unlike anything ever seen before in the enchanted forest. The forest echoed with the hum of ancient magic blending with futuristic technology, as the once separate realms now danced together in harmony. The flora and fauna of the enchanted forest found themselves caught in this technological fusion, their world forever changed by Private Sparklebottom's awesome act. And so, thanks to Sparklebottom's whimsical intervention, the fate of the enchanted forest was forever altered, ushering in a new era where magic and technology coexisted in surreal harmony. As the enchanted technodust seeped into the ancient roots of the beacon of Gaia, a peculiar fusion began to take shape. The once serene forest suddenly came alive with whirring gears and crackling spells, creating a cacophony of sights and sounds that could only be described as organized chaos. In a whimsical world where robotic squirrels climbed pixelated trees like tech-savvy lumberjacks, holographic butterflies fluttered around in neon hues, seemingly lost in a digital rave. Wizards armed with voice-activated wands that occasionally mistook spells for grocery lists attempted to conjure up reality TV shows instead of potions. Meanwhile, unicorns at the local fairy market were busy trading cryptocurrency for wishes, causing chaos in the mystical stock exchange. The holographic butterflies, with their wings shimmering in an array of neon colors that could make even a disco ball jealous, moved about as if they were on a mission to confuse any unsuspecting onlookers. Their erratic flight patterns resembled a glitchy video game character trying to navigate through a maze of code, adding an extra layer of absurdity to the already surreal scene. And so, in the whimsical realm of the enchanted pixie woods, where magic and technology danced together in an absurd waltz, one thing was certain: nothing was ever quite as it seemed. It all began when a mischievous group of pixies stumbled upon a stash of discarded stormtrooper armor left behind by a lost battalion from a galaxy far, far away. These pixies, known for their insatiable curiosity and knack for tinkering with anything they could get their tiny hands on, decided to experiment with the abandoned armor. Through a series of comical mishaps involving enchanted tools and a sprinkle of technodust, the stormtrooper armor merged with the essence of the pixies, resulting in the birth of a new breed, the Storm-pixie. Leading this newfound band of warriors was none other than Commander Zephyr, a cunning and quick-witted pixie who had always dreamed of grand adventures beyond the confines of the enchanted pixie woods. With her strategic mind and enchanting abilities, Commander Zephyr rallied her fellow Storm-pixies to embark on daring missions that blended the discipline of stormtroopers with the whimsical charm of pixies. Together they soared through the skies on enchanted electric guitar hoverboards, wielding glitter bombs that crackled with both technological prowess and magical energy. Prancing through peculiar realms, our valiant voyagers vanquished vexing goblins in the dastardly dark forest and liberated lovelorn princesses ere Prince Perfect could even ponder. As word spread of their exploits, the legend of the Storm-pixies grew throughout the realm, inspiring awe and amusement in equal measure. And so, under Commander Zephyr's leadership, these unlikely heroes continued to protect the enchanted pixie woods from any threat that dared to disturb its delicate balance of magic and technology. Once upon a time in the enchanted forest, there existed a mischievous group of discontent, evil brownie sorcerers known as the Pixie Woods Syndicate. In a whimsical wonderland where mischief reigned supreme, a band of pint-sized pests known as the Pixie Woods Syndicate stumbled upon the radiant beacon of Gaia. These minuscule troublemakers, with their insatiable appetite for chaos and knack for naughtiness, saw this serendipitous encounter as a golden opportunity to seize the power of the beacon for their mischievous machinations. The mischievous minions of the Pixie Woods Syndicate, in their devious delight, concocted a cunning plan to wield the beacon's might for their own nefarious ends. With visions of grandeur dancing in their tiny heads, they fancied themselves as the undisputed overlords of the enchanted forest, dreaming of a dominion where gingerbread fists ruled with sugary sovereignty. Little did they know that their plans would soon be thwarted by a squad of storm-pixies known as the Stormpixie. The Stormpixie were sworn protectors of the enchanted forest, the beacon and its mystical properties, using its powers for good and spreading joy and laughter throughout the enchanted forest. As the Pixie Woods Syndicate attempted to twist into the magic of the beacon, turning it black, a magical alarm went off, alerting the Storm-pixies to the situation. The forest echoed with the sounds of popping bubbles and tiny explosions as the beacon brownies hustled about. In a wacky whirlpool turning of the tides, the blaring alarm managed to spook the nefarious dark forces' feeble attempt at delving into the murky realms of black magic. In a whimsical twist of fate, the Storm-pixies, known for their ever-watchful eyes from afar, decided to play superhero and swoop down like caped crusaders to apprehend the mischievous brownie sorcerers who were causing chaos in the forest. The scene was set for an epic showdown between the tiny, magical creatures. As the Storm-pixies descended upon the brownie baddies with all the determination of a hero in a comic book, much to everyone's surprise and bewilderment, the mischievous sorcerers pulled off a disappearing act that would have made even Houdini envious. In a puff of glittering smoke and a mischievous cackle, they vanished into the depths of the forest. All that remained in their wake was a whimsical trail of swirling smoke and an inexplicable array of Ziploc bags fluttering in the breeze like confetti at a chaotic carnival. The forest echoed with laughter as the Storm-pixies scratched their heads in disbelief at the sheer audacity and skill of their tiny foes. The great brownie sorcerer escape would go down in history as one of the most legendary feats of magical trickery ever witnessed in the enchanted realm. And so the Storm-pixies were left to ponder their next move, knowing that they had been outsmarted by creatures no bigger than a loaf of bread. The forest whispered tales of the elusive brownie sorcerers and their daring escape, forever immortalizing them as true legends among legends in the mystical world they called home. In the heart of a whimsical land there lies a beacon, a true wellspring of wonder and joy for all its quirky inhabitants. In a realm where the laws of nature take coffee breaks and the whimsical reign supreme, there exists a peculiar bunch known as the Storm-pixies. These pint-sized troublemakers have a knack for bossing around the elements like they're their own personal minions. Leading this ragtag group is none other than Commander Zephyr, the fearless head honcho of the Pixie Commando Squad. Picture a pixie with combat skills sharper than a unicorn's horn, strategic thinking that would make even a chess grandmaster jealous, and determination so unyielding it could rival a stubborn mule. Commander Zephyr doesn't just rely on her trusty whip to keep things in line. Oh no, she wields her quick wit like a seasoned bard strumming his lute. With reflexes quicker than a hiccup, and a brain that could outsmart a sphinx, Commander Zephyr is the kind of leader who can turn a rainstorm into a dance party and a tornado into a gentle breeze. Her squad looks up to her like she's the fairy godmother of chaos, ready to conquer any obstacle that dares cross their path. In the company of Commander Zephyr, a formidable pixie warrior with the power to command the elements, flies Stormwing, a pixie whose wings unleash lightning bolts with each flap, creating quite the electrifying spectacle. Alongside them is Sergeant Ember, a pint-sized but feisty pixie known for summoning fire out of thin air. With a stormy temperament and reflexes as quick as lightning, Stormwing harnesses the forces of nature to wreak havoc on the battlefield. Meanwhile, Sergeant Ember, with his fiery disposition and swift reactions, is a fierce combatant who wields potent fire magic in warfare. In a whimsical world where Storm-pixies scurry about in search of mischievous brownie sorcerers, a telepathic transmission tickles their tiny minds with news of a new threat from the Pixie Wood Syndicate lurking in the labyrinthian underworld of the Beacon. The air is abuzz with absurdity as these diminutive creatures navigate through twists and turns, encountering alliteration-laden challenges along the way. The pixies' wings quiver with trepidation as they ponder the perils that await them in this topsy-turvy world of fantastical foes and fanciful fables. But fear not, for these intrepid adventurers are armed with wit as sharp as their tiny swords and sarcasm as potent as their magical spells. With a twinkle in their eyes and a skip in their step, the Storm-pixies set off on their absurdly audacious quest to thwart the sinister plans of the Pixie Wood Syndicate. Through twisted tunnels and tangled thickets, they navigate with nary a misstep, their alliterative banter echoing through the shadowy corridors like a chorus of chirping crickets. Once upon a time in the enchanted forest, a cabal of notorious brownie sorcerers known as the Pixie Wood Syndicate decided to return to the underworld of Gaia's beacon. These brownies were not your ordinary garden variety. They were infamous for their absurd antics and peculiar habits. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting eerie shadows across the ancient trees, Whispers began to spread among the woodland creatures about the impending return of the dreaded brownie sorcerers. And the squirrels chattered nervously, the owls hooted warnings, and even the wise old oak tree seemed to shudder in anticipation. The brownie sorcerers, with their pointed hats and crooked wands, emerged from the shadows deep within the enchanted forest. Their eyes gleamed with mischief as they plotted their next prank on unsuspecting passers-by. Some whispered that they have been learning dark magic since their great escape, while others claimed they had struck a deal with the mischievous imps that dwell in the shadows. As night fell and darkness enveloped the forest, strange occurrences began to unfold. Trees danced merrily without wind, flowers sang haunting melodies, and rocks whispered secrets to those who dared to listen. The brownie sorcerers cackled with glee as chaos reigned supreme in the underworld of Gaia's beacon. But little did they know that their antics had caught the attention of an ancient guardian spirit who dwelled within the heart of the beacon. In a comically bewildering display of telepathic radiance that would make even the most seasoned psychic blush, the ancient spirit, who probably had a longer nap than your average sloth, decided it was high time to wake up and shake things up. With all the finesse of a clumsy yet endearing cosmic ballet dancer, this mystical guardian being sent out a mental memo to the Storm-Pixie squad, alerting them to the shenanigans of those mischievous brownie sorcerers who were apparently having a wild party in the underground rave cave beneath the enchanted beacon. Once upon a time, in the enchanted forest where logic took a vacation and imagination reigned supreme, there existed a mystical spirit so ancient that even the rocks whispered tales of its age. This spirit, known simply as Druantia, communicated not through mundane means like words or gestures, but through the ethereal art of telepathy. Picture this. As Druantia emerged from its eons-long slumber amidst a flurry of stardust and cosmic confetti, its presence alone caused ripples in the fabric of reality. The Storm-Pixie squad, a group of pint-sized protectors with wings made of rainbow dreams and with mischief in their eyes, were lounging lazily under the shade of an oversized mushroom, when suddenly their minds were filled with a kaleidoscope of colors and sensations. Through telepathic tendrils of thought that danced like fireflies on a summer night, Druantia projected images of swirling brownie sorcery and Lord Scattergizzard, a necromancer older than time itself, into the minds of the Storm-Pixies. It was as if they could taste the ambrosia and hear the whispers of Druantia echoing in their souls. And so it was that in a mind-bending spectacle that would make even quantum physicists scratch their heads in confusion, the Storm-Pixie squad received word from their luminescent overlord about those pesky brownie sorcerers causing chaos in the root network beneath the beacon. Armed with newfound knowledge and a healthy dose of absurdity, they set off on their next part of their fantastical adventure. Determined to restore peace and order to their home, Commander Zephyr rallies her Storm-Pixie squad and embarks on a daring mission to hunt down the evil brownies and drive them out once and for all. As they journey deeper into the beacon's underworld, they encounter treacherous landscapes filled with twisting vines and delicious ambrosia fruit. Each member of the diminutive yet powerful group plays a crucial role in overcoming these challenges. Commander Zephyr summons gusts of wind to clear a path through the swirling mists, while Stormwing illuminates their way with his lightning-filled wings. Sergeant Ember brings up the rear, using his fire powers to keep any would-be attackers at bay. In a twist of fate that felt longer than waiting for toast to pop, they finally arrived at the heart of the brownies' lair. Surrounded by dead leaves and kindling that could start a massive bonfire, they found themselves staring down the mischievous brownies. Commander Zephyr, with all the strategic finesse of a squirrel planning a nut heist and leadership skills sharper than a rubber spoon, led the Spixies through this absurdly perilous mission. She ensured they clung together like peanut butter on a jellyfish in a hurricane, meandering through the convoluted underworld with all the elegance of a penguin doing the cha-cha in moon boots. As they delved deeper into the Earth's belly, the Spixies encountered creatures straight out of a mad scientist's dream journal. From fluffy bunnies with laser eyes to sentient mushrooms that recited Shakespearean sonnets, each turn in the maze brought forth a new level of absurdity. One particularly memorable encounter involved a group of tap-dancing gnomes who challenged them to a dance-off for safe passage. Commander Zephyr, never one to back down from a challenge, busted out moves that would make even disco balls jealous, securing their way forward amidst cheers and confetti showers. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of bizarre encounters and questionable dance battles, they stood face to face with the evil brownies, ready to confront them with all the absurdity they had accumulated along the way. In a land where mischievous brownies cooked up trouble worse than a pot of burnt stew, the Storm-pixies set off on a quest as odd as a polar bear in a tuxedo. Led by the enigmatic Commander Zephyr, whose strategic prowess rivaled that of a squirrel planning its nut hoard for winter, the Storm-pixies ventured into the heart of the Pixie Woods Syndicate's lair. Picture this. Amidst roots that tangles like an over-enthusiastic squid, and so many worms they could make a pasta chef cry, our brave pixies found themselves face to face with the nefarious Brownie Sorcerers. Commander Zephyr, with her leadership skills sharper than a porcupine's quills, orchestrated the chaos with finesse that would make even a clumsy flamingo jealous. The Storm-pixies, more united than a flock of birds migrating south for winter, stood firm against the mischievous brownies. As spells clashed like two stubborn goats butting heads over who gets to eat the last tin can, the battlefield crackled with absurdity. The Brownie Sorcerers, with their wands waving like a group of synchronized swimmers performing in molasses, tried to outwit the Storm-pixies. Yet, our pixies danced through the madness with grace akin to a hippo doing ballet, unexpected yet strangely mesmerizing. The clash between these fantastical beings was as bizarre as a unicorn playing poker with leprechauns. In a fantastical realm where Storm-pixies and Brownie Sorcerers clashed in a battle of whimsy and wonder, the absurdity of the scene was heightened by flying sparks and glitter. Because really, why not add some sparkle to a chaotic confrontation? As the Storm-pixies emerged victorious amidst the glittery chaos, the defeated Brownie Sorcerers slunk away like snails caught in a salt storm, their defeat sealed by the sheer ridiculousness of it all. However, unbeknownst to the onlookers reveling in this bizarre spectacle, the evil brownies and their mischievous leader, Lord Spatagizzard, managed to escape, slipping away into the shadows to plot their revenge another day. In this topsy-turvy world where brownies brew mischief and Storm-pixies dance through chaos like disco-loving fireflies, one can never predict what absurdity will unfold next. In a whirlwind of chaos and calamity, Trial by Fire unfolds as a whimsical jig that leaves viewers teetering on the edge of their seats until the very last gasp. The narrative weaves together elements of fantasy and absurdity, painting a picture of a world where the unexpected reigns supreme and where even the most outlandish outcomes become possible. Through its blend of humor and unpredictability, Trial by Fire invites its audience to embrace the madness and revel in the sheer joy of storytelling that defies logic and reason. Once upon a time in the enchanted realm of Pixie Woods, Fairy Queen Glitterwing decided to throw a grand reception to honor the valiant Storm-pixies for successfully surviving their second battle against the mischievous Brownie Syndicate. The Great Hall of Twinkleberry Castle was adorned with shimmering fairy lights and fragrant petals from the Moonblossom Garden, setting the stage for an evening of merriment and celebration. As the Storm-pixies fluttered into the hall, their tiny wings buzzing with excitement, Fairy Queen Glitterwing descended from her throne made of spun sugar and dewdrops. With a twirl of her opalescent gown and a sprinkle of stardust, she welcomed her brave warriors with a radiant smile that lit up the room like 1,000 fireflies. In the midst of a cacophony of giggles that sounded like a herd of tickled unicorns and a melodious hum that could rival a choir of enchanted kazoos, Fairy Queen Glitterwing decided to surprise her Storm-pixies with an unconventional reward. She presented each tiny warrior with a glittering crystal trophy shaped like a miniature thundercloud, causing the air to crackle not just with magic, but also with the static electricity from their excited flapping wings. As she praised their bravery in facing the challenges of the stormy battlefield where lightning played hopscotch and thunder threw tantrums like a toddler denied candy, the Storm-pixies couldn't help but beam with pride. Clutching their awards as if they were made of solid gold instead of crystallized rainbows, their hearts swelled with gratitude for their queen's recognition. And so, under the twinkling gaze of the starlit sky that seemed to be winking knowingly at their antics, they indulged in a feast fit for woodland royalty. The ambrosial nectar served in dewdrop chalices and frosted acorns that sparkled like disco balls. Meanwhile, in a neighboring glen where pixie citizens were known for their keen eyes and even keener gossip, rumors began to spread like wildfire. It was said that a group of mischievous pixies had spotted none other than the elusive brownie lord Spattergizzard performing an interpretive dance routine at the Rainbow Geyser. The sight was so absurdly surreal that some claimed it must have been a trick of the light or perhaps an overindulgence in fermented honeydew mead. But those who had witnessed it swore by the enchanted mushrooms growing near the beacon that what they saw was indeed true. A brownie twirling and pirouetting amidst arcs of rainbow-colored water while humming an eerie tune that sounded suspiciously like an ancient spell.